Good morning. This is Mr. Stovanarath. First videos for my pre-calculus class period 4. Okay, how are you guys doing? We're gonna pick up on chapter 4.3, which is appropriate for us, I think. Okay, because the last time we talked in class was the unit circle, and we don't have a lot of time left. I just want to cover some of the important stuff for chapter 4. All right, so there's the homework on the side there. We talked about the unit circles and all that stuff last time, I think. Okay, so let's quickly go through this part of unit circle. Now, unit circle, you guys have to remember just the basic angles. Those are the pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, and a pi over 2. And in degrees, the pi over 6 is the same thing as 30 degrees. So I'm going to mark here 30. And then pi over 4 is the same as 45 degrees. And pi over 3 is 60 degrees. Okay. Now the coordinate points, we talked about this briefly right before the class was dismissed last time. So this right here would be the height of that point. So if this length is 1, this height is going to be a half of 1 if you look at it. So this is a half of 1. From there to there is 1. So a half of 1 is the height. The height of, in coordinate plane, we'll write them on the y-axis. Okay? Now this side here is the width or the length of the side of that 30-degree angle. This whole length from the center to this point is 1. So that should be almost 1. I think I told you guys to figure this out before. If you take a root of 3 divided by 2, that should be about 0.8-ish. Okay, 0.87, 0.9. Regardless of what that is, it's almost 1. So that point right here is almost 1, but we're not writing this decimal point. We'll just write the root 3 over 2 here. Okay. And then you can pause this here and look at, I'll go back and watch this again on how I get my angle 30 and 4 pi over 6, and I got these 2 points lined up. Okay. Let me reset the board here, and I'll talk about the other point right here, the 60-degree angle. So this line is 60-degree angle because it opens up that way. 60-degree angle. It's the same thing as pi over 3 in radian. Now let's look at that angle. So this line from here to here, it's lined up with the point up here. So this width here, or the length on the x-axis, is half of 1. So the x-axis, we'll write that in x-coordinate. So that's a half. And then if you track this all the way up to the top and stop at that point there, that's 1. This is near 1. In fact, that's 0.87 or 0.866, which is the same number as root 3 over 2. So as you can see, these two numbers are merely switching the x and the y. Root 3 over 2, 1 half root 3 over 2. Okay, all right, you can compare those. The middle angle, and here's the middle angle. That is half of 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees right here. So this would be a half of that. So half is 45. So this angle is 45 degrees. Okay? So that 45 degree, now if you don't really care too much for anything, the left or the width here and the height there is the same. Always the same distances. So you have root 2 over 2 here on both sides. Okay? Root 2 over 2 and root 2 over 2. And that's how that works. Now having these points memorized, there's like only 3 points you have to remember, because all these are coordinate points. 1, 0, 0, 1, negative 1, 0, 0, negative 1. And then having all these points memorized, all 3 points here, you can translate them into the second quadrant, third, and fourth quadrant, just adding the negative signs to it. Okay, certain part has like the x-axis has negative in the second quadrant, and then third quadrant, both of them have negative, so the signs will just be, for example, this guy right here, this angle on the pi over 6, or 7 pi over 6, I will have negative 1/2 because it goes down about halfway to 1, but that's negative. Then it goes all the way out almost to negative 1, so I'm going to say that is negative root 3 over 2. Okay, you can figure out all the angles that way. All right, that's my first video review for your unit angle quickly, because we haven't seen each other in a while. So, all right, so I'll post this one up and I'll do another video for you guys on the actual 4.3. This is just a quick reminder of where we went with unit circle. Okay, goodbye for now.